What's up guys, Robert Rule of 2 Review here, and today I talk about Watch Dogs' crazy record-breaking sales. Okay, so I realized that in the 7 months since I created the YouTube channel here, that I've made quite a few Watch Dogs videos, probably like 5 or 6 so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a promise to you guys right here and now. It's only been a coincidence that I've made this many. So what I'm going to promise to you is that until I pick up my Wii U version of the game, which we know is going to be coming out sometime later this year in the fall, I'm going to hope maybe like August at the earliest or September, October probably. So until I get my copy, I am only going to make one more video about Watch Dogs, and that is going to be this one. So, getting to the topic at hand, which is Watch Dogs, of course what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that the game just launched not even a week ago, this past Tuesday, May 27th, for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. Of course, we know the Wii U version's coming later, as I just said. I have not played the game because I'm waiting to pick up the game for the Wii U, and although there's been a lot of polarizing sort of, back and forth discussions about if the game is good, if it's not, if it lived up to its initial hype, if it didn't, I still maintain a very high level of excitement. I am excited to play that version with the gamepad, see what it is exactly that Ubisoft is taking their time on to try to make this quote-unquote definitive version of the game with the technology of the Wii U, so I'm hoping that that really helps. I'm excited. I think it looks like a great fun game, and despite the controversy about its result, it still mostly is being received quite positively, so I'm excited. But in talking about the other 5 versions of the game that did just launch not even a week ago, the really crazy and kind of semi-surprising information is just how successful the game has been. You probably know, it's been pretty well documented in the 5 or 6 days since the game released, that its first week, it sold 4 million copies. Now, it should be noted that that 4 million copy sales is officially the largest launch for a brand new IP ever, as well as the largest opening week of any game for, if any Ubisoft game ever. That includes any of the Assassin's Creed games, any of the Rayman games, any of the Tom Clancy games. I mean, it is like the biggest deal, the biggest thing ever. And to me, to break both records, not only the biggest Ubisoft game launch week, but also the biggest new IP launch week ever, that is a pretty huge deal. So what I want to talk about today is why that's a huge deal. Besides some of the obvious reasons, because hey, it's a game that's brand new, it's very highly anticipated, and it's very successful. This success comes on the heels of the crazy controversy that I mentioned earlier on in the video, which is even something that I made a whole video about just a couple of days ago. Going back to the idea of the fact that the game, based on its initial reveal at E3 2012 and how it had progressed, in development, through the delay, all of the kind of, rumblings in the over the internet over what was happening with the game, people's reactions, the downgraded graphics, and then the end result with the game just now, not even a week ago. There's been so much going on, and I just think that it's interesting that despite all of this controversy, a game like this can come out. Whether or not it lives up to what it's supposed to be or not, I can't even really say that yet because I haven't played it, but a lot of people are saying that that's true. This game still came out and did gangbusters. I gotta tell you, even when, if I were to go back to E3 2012 when it was first revealed and it was like the greatest thing on earth, the greatest, best looking new thing on earth, I probably still at that time wouldn't have guessed it would have sold as well as it had. Let alone, like I said, the year and a half, 2 years fast forward to when it just released, with all the controversy and all the people kind of dogging it, it is even more surprising to know that it did this well. But I have to say that I'm very glad that it did this well. So I kind of want to talk about how this relates to the topic that I just touched on a couple of days ago. I'm going to link my previous Watch Dogs video below, the one very specifically about whether or not we see games too early, and using Watch Dogs as kind of the catalyst for that conversation based on its whole release schedule and everything about it. And it's interesting that I just made this video and I stand by the concept of maybe we are seeing games a little bit too early because we're starting to see how games can be shown impressively initially, and then a couple of years down the road after its development cycle when it releases, it doesn't live up to that hype. We've seen that, and I stand by that might still be a problem. However, Watch Dogs, as kind of one of the biggest, purveyors of this concept of seeing games too early, people still maintained a level of excitement. Obviously, they were still ready to invest. They were still ready to be excited to pick this game up. It definitely helps that And you can tell me what you guys think about this, because this is sort of an interesting deal. I think it helps that the way this generation is being treated right now, it's unprecedented in the fact that we're seeing continued almost 100% complete support for now the previous generation. We are 6 months into the PS4 and Xbox One's life cycle, and a year and 6 months into the Wii U's life cycle. Yet here we are with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox One seeing continued almost full support of full-fledged, fully featured games that are also coming out on the next generation. And that is both a great thing and also not a great thing. And I'm not going to get into that conversation here because it would just way sidetrack me too much. And if you've been following Rule of Two Reviewer or my videos, you know that I tend to do that really easily. So I'm going to try not to do that. But given the fact that because of that, we saw this game release on 5 out of its 6. We haven't even seen the Wii U version launch yet. I mean, if that version launched as well, you could add many more copies to this initial sale. So that's still something else that they have to look forward to later in the year when that version releases. So the other 5 versions that just launched, that's a lot of copies. It's a lot of platforms available. People are both excited about the next gen with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as well as excited about the fact that they can still be keeping their Xbox 360s and PlayStation 3s and getting all the games that they want. I mean, there's almost nothing. There actually is literally nothing being denied to any of those last gen adopters, the people still playing those games. And so, again, I almost tangented. I don't want to do that. So when you look at Watch Dogs, I think that, the breadth of availability is probably part of it. And the fact that people still remained so excited for the game. And although I think it sucks that a lot of people seem to be looking down on it, and, there's this large yet minority there. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. There's a large vocal minority, and large and minority kind of seems to be an oxymoron, but that's just the way to put it. A large vocal minority of people who are saying the game is a disappointment. The graphics were downgraded, which I don't think has to matter that much, but I know that it kind of does at the same time. So, it doesn't look as good. It doesn't play as good. It's kind of the scope of the game and what it's allowing us to do gameplay-wise and how it's allowing us to interact with the world that I was always wanting this game to deliver on. Visually, I really do like good graphics. I promise you I do, especially next-gen graphics. But it's not the kicker for me. I don't mind if the game looks just pretty good next gen or last gen, but if it gives us this interaction with the world in this whole new way that made it seem like this whole brand new fresh concept like when we first saw it, I just want it to deliver on that. So when I get my version in a couple of months, that's what I'm looking forward to. I know it's going to look good regardless, but I want that, and I want the gamepad integration to be amazing and to feel like a next step in gaming. And people seem to be saying that at least the other versions, not the Wii U, but the other versions that just launched, it doesn't seem to be living up to that. That is a shame. It hurts me to hear it because I'm so excited for the game. It hurts me to hear it because I really like Ubisoft and I want to see them be successful. So that also kind of created a little bit of nervousness and trepidation going into how successful the game might have been. The review scores have been okay, lots of 8s, 8.5s. I don't think there's been a whole lot of super high scores, but an 8 or an 8.5 game is a great game. That's a game worth your $60 right there. So it's been maybe not being heralded as the next best greatest thing, but it's still being heralded as a really good solid game that you should spend your time and money on. That's a great thing, but because of the reaction, I was worried maybe it was going to release and not really do as well. And luckily, the point of the video, like I've said a couple times, is just to celebrate the fact that people have remained excited for it and people bought it in droves. And it's also a great sign because it's a new IP. That's the other big thing here, and that'll be my closing thought on what I promise you will be my last Watch Dogs videos for several months, is that this is a new IP to do so well. In this world where video games and the movie market and everything that, is our nerd culture that you and I care about and follow passionately, films, comics, video games, anime, things like that, it's a brand new thing. It's not a sequel. It's not a spin-off. It's not a prequel. It's not a side story. It's not anything but its own brand new thing. And while it definitely has borrowed game mechanics, it's still a brand new story with brand new characters and a brand new world. I think that's great that we got it, and I think it's even greater that it's been so successful. I'm also glad to see that based on my concept from my last video about Watch Dogs, and if we see games too early, which again I still stand by, I'm glad to see that Watch Dogs kind of helped prove it not true. Or at least in the sense that even if people seem to be kind of down on its overall delivery, still people were excited about it. They seem to be liking it. They're buying it like crazy. The game is a record breaker, and that is so flippin' cool. So it makes me feel even better and more excited for when I finally will get to play Watch Dogs down the road. I've been playing so much Mario Kart that I really didn't need to worry about playing Watch Dogs for any of of the platforms, and I've got them all, you know. So it's just really cool to know that the game is great. I'm still excited for it. So I definitely want to know, have you played it? Which version have you played? What do you think? I know the PC version has seen a lot of problems and glitches. I don't know if a patch has come out yet, but I know they were talking about it. So if you've been playing the game, what do you think? Do you think it deserves all this success? Are you happy to see its success? Do you think it's so disappointing that the success is undeserved? Whatever it is you think, you've heard my opinion, but what is your opinion? And with that, I will wrap up today. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Watch Dogs news, like my 7th so far. Like I said, lasts for several months, so no worries there. Of course, if you like what I'm doing and you like Rule of 2 Review, you should please feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so, like and share the video, share your comments and your thoughts about Watch Dogs below. Thank you so much as always for tuning in, and of course, I will catch you next time.